Hey y'all, I tried to record this video like 3 times, but I've been a little nervous to speak on it. The Marvin Sapp situation. Now, these are my thoughts and my opinions. They are by no means something that I'm saying is law. These are my personal thoughts and opinions, so take it as you will. All right, here we go. First off, the video made me very uncomfortable. From him telling the ushers to lock the doors and the tone when he's like, lock the doors. Lock the doors. Like, what? First of all, that felt very aggressive. Okay. Number two, you demanding a certain amount of seed. Now, have I been to a ton of churches where they say, hey, we're trying to raise X, Y, and Z? Yes. Have I been to churches where they say, we hope to get this amount from this many people? Yes. It was the aggressive nature that made me uncomfortable about that video. So I went further down the rabbit hole and I read his response. He said that it was a conference and that money would cover the cost of the conference. Okay, I understand too that ministry costs. I watched my pastor build a church from the ground up. I mean, from a small Bible study where we're using somebody else's space to us getting our own huge space, to that space having some sort of electrical problems, us having to move and getting another space. I have seen it work. Has that taken seed? Has that taken help from the church? Yes, it has. But sometimes people forget that when you give to the church, sometimes it's not always monetary. Sometimes it's your service. Sometimes it's cleaning the bathrooms. Sometimes it's lining up the chairs. Sometimes it's greeting people. Your giving to the church, your seed, is not always money. Now, when I saw this, I instantly thought of when Creflo Dollar was saying, hey, I need a plane so I can travel. Here's my thing. I thought that was crazy and outlandish. Here's why. If you need to travel and go different places, why is it you can't get on Southwest, Delta, all these, like, because everybody else does it? I really believe that sometimes pastors, now don't get me wrong, when you ministry is work, it's a job. Do you deserve to have your livelihood taken care of? Yes, you do, because you are providing a service. It's a job. And ministry is not cheap and ministry is not easy. Like I said, I watched my pastor build a church from the ground up. The reason why I'm comfortable with sowing a seed into that ministry is because I have seen the work. I have seen the miracles. I have seen how we pray together. I have seen the community in my church. I don't sow a seed so that I can make sure we get to a certain dollar amount. The other thing, my pastor does not peer pressure, which that was the energy that I felt was peer pressure. And I feel like whenever you are peer pressured to do something in a religious or spiritual setting, it is very cultish. I'm not saying his church is a cult. I'm just saying the energy was real cultish. You should never be pressured to do anything in a spiritual environment. You need to get into the presence of God and do what God tells you to do, because at the end of the day, everybody in that room, from congregation to pastor to usher, is supposed to be obeying God, whatever God tells you to do. And I'm going to be all the way real. God tells different people to do different things. And I think people forget that you don't need to sit there with your pastor to talk to God. You don't need your pastor to be the middleman between you and God. You can talk to God whenever you want. When two or more are gathered in my name, there I am in the midst. That has nothing to do with the building and everything to do with the community behind it. That has nothing to do with the building and everything to do with your relationship with God. You can build your own relationship with God. Yes, some people are lost and they need to be led to the word. They need to understand how to apply the word in their lives. They need to be able to understand the word for themselves. And a lot of times your pastor will lead you to that. But the thing is, it should not be under the energy of peer pressure. Now, I do want to say one thing that is positive. He definitely did something that I have never seen done. I'm not sure if other churches do it, but I've never seen it done. He told the ministers to give 100. He said that 20 is not for you. Now that I'm kind of agreeing with him on, because a lot of times you see bigger churches You see the pastors in nice suits. I'm not saying they shouldn't dress nice, but a lot of times it is very outlandish. A lot of times it is expensive, where it's like, I've seen pastors that preach just as well, that perform miracles, that are prophetic, that perform in J's and a snapback and do the same thing. I've seen pastors perform in a suit from Men's Warehouse and be more powerful and impactful than somebody at a mega church that's in East St. Laurent. Okay? Y'all need to start looking at the person as a person, because they're human just like you are, instead of what it's dressed up as. A lot of times people glorify the pastors that have the really nice cars and they dress nice and they have this lavish lifestyle, and they want to emulate that. I do believe that you should make sure that your pastor's livelihood is taken care of, because they are providing a service. They are giving their life not only to God, but they are giving of themselves to you as a congregation. But here's the thing, and I heard a pastor, I'm not going to say their name, but I heard a pastor say this years ago. It don't make no sense for me to be living large and my congregation is suffering. That is not what I want. And I agree with that as well. So anyway, I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for this video. I'm probably going to get a lot of comments. All I ask is that when you leave a comment, just be respectful. I am totally cool with us disagreeing. I am totally cool if you do not side with my message. I'm cool with you if you do side with it. But I just ask that you be respectful, because we all are human. We all are going to be judged one day, and God is the only true judge. Anyway, that's my take on that. Peace and blessings. I'll talk to y'all later.